welcome to the Zen Elephant, where we talk about all things Zen. So today I wanted to talk about something really fun. I want to talk about UFOs and ETs and my first UFO experience and a few of my other experiences as well. But of course, before we get into any of that, make sure that you guys like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you're always up to date with all the videos that I have up for you. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to start off by saying that as a collective, I feel that we are way too far along in our evolution to not understand the fact that UFOs are real, they do exist, they have always existed, and that there are many UFO sightings worldwide. And actually this year in 2020, UFO sightings are up 200%. So it's kind of like they're pretty much done hiding and they're really trying to make their presence known. That is a lot of activity. Okay, now before I talk about my own experiences, I really just want to say a little something for the people who do not believe or are just very fearful of the subject and anything like that, you know, the skeptics, if you will. Listen, you guys, life is infinite. This is just one planet, okay, out of trillions of planets. There are other galaxies, other solar systems, and even other universes that are out there. It never ends, you guys. And when you grasp that, the entirety of that, you really start to put into perspective of how small we really are compared to the vastness of this entire universe that we're living in. Now, moving on. My first in-person experience with the UFO was actually a few years ago, and I was with my cousin, right? So I was driving him back home, and we kind of live in the same neighborhood but different subdivisions, right? So I was driving home. It was about between 11 and midnight, I believe. And we were turning the corner. All the street lights were on, you know? And we looked up in the distance and there was just this huge white orb just kind of sitting there in the sky. But it was really low. So it was about like 5 feet or so above the trees. You know, because there's like a lot of forest back there where I live. So it was just hovering there, and it caught our attention to the point where we were just kind of staring at it, and we literally pulled over. We pulled over, got out of the car, and we were just staring at it. We were like, what is that? And he was like, well, it can't be a helicopter because it's not making any sound, and there's no lights or anything like that, just this huge orb of white light. So we stayed there for about 10 minutes before it started to get a little creepy. I told him, I was like, that's a UFO, you know? And I don't know if you guys have Gaia. I remember watching something, I think his name is Matias de Stefano, and he talks about Pleiadian starships, and whenever they show up in the sky, they always show up as these white orbs of light because it's their Merkaba. I'll explain that in another video. Their Merkaba spinning so fast that it turns into this giant orb of light, and that's what you're seeing because that's how they travel. And so when you start to think about a lot of the sightings that happen, I know my mom has seen a lot in Miami where there's just these bright lights in the sky and they're just kind of like zooming back and forth and doing all this other stuff, disappearing and all of that. So those types of ships. They're very etheric ships, if you will. We ended up getting back in the car and driving back home, and we were kind of creeped out because we were like, what if they follow us? What if they follow us home? But nothing happened. So that was a really cool experience. And so there's the next time that I had this sighting, right? I've had many sightings in my life, not just UFOs, but I've also experienced some extraterrestrial experiences. But I'll probably talk about that in another video. So this next sighting, I had just got home and I parked my car. I was on the phone with my friend and we were having a good conversation, and I get out of my car and I just start walking down the sidewalk, literally in front of my neighbor's house. And I look up in the sky and there's a UFO, you guys, casually cruising above like the houses in my neighborhood. And I was like, wait, what is that? It's not a helicopter. It's not a plane, way too low to be a plane. And I look at it and it's just this bright silver very geometrical shaped ship just cruising in the sky. And I was like, oh my God, that's a UFO. It's a UFO. And I was freaking out. And I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. A picture with it. I tried to take a picture of it with my phone and my phone wouldn't work. You guys, like my phone froze. Coincidentally, I was outside on my block by myself. There was not one neighbor outside, and there's always at least one person outside, so I couldn't look to anyone and say, hey, are you guys seeing this right now? I literally had this entire experience to myself. So what did I do? I get in my car and I decide to try to follow it. And I get like 5 minutes down the road and it just disappeared. It disappeared, you guys. And so I was a little frustrated, but I was extremely happy that it happened, and I was excited to have seen a UFO in broad daylight like that. You know, as I was driving back into my complex and I was turning the corner on my street, and I see one of my neighbors outside, and I'm like, hey, by any chance, did you guys see the UFO that was just flying over top, like over our neighborhood just now? And I told them I tried to get a picture of it and I couldn't because my phone literally stopped working while I was trying to record it and take a picture. And they looked at me like I was completely nuts. So my neighbors think that I'm a little crazy, but it's okay because I saw what I saw. And then later on in that day, I looked at my phone and I did actually get a picture of it. I mean, it's really far away. And honestly, in that moment of me looking at the picture that I took, I realized why all of these UFO pictures and videos that you always see that's shared by other people across the globe, why they look so shitty. Because, oh my God, you guys, the picture quality was so bad. It was so bad. It's really like taking a picture of the moon at night. You know, it looks beautiful in person, but you try to take a picture of it and you see like this little white dot. Okay, and that's the equivalent of how the UFO picture looks. And I'm gonna put it up. It was very geometrical, and I really wanted to equate it to like an octagon type shape. But yeah, so I mean, I've been driving home at night and there have been UFO activity, just like a UFO flying right over my car while I'm driving home. I've actually been driving in broad daylight and saw another ship while I'm driving, but I couldn't take a picture because I was driving and, you know, not trying to get into a car accident. But I saw it for a few seconds and it was just, again, cruising. And I'm like, how is nobody seeing this right now? And then it disappeared. And especially at nighttime, if you lay out, you know, whether it be on top of your car or, you know, just lay out in the grass and really look into the sky when it's a clear night, there's so much activity, okay? Not everything that moves is a shooting star, okay? Life is so magical and so amazing, and people miss it because they just don't look up anymore. Everyone's always looking down on their phones or talking to somebody about things that are stupid and don't matter, or whatever kind of drama you guys deal with on a daily basis. But it's nothing to be fearful of. And I feel like people get so afraid when they hear about UFOs or, you know, aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever, because they always equate it to what they have been taught about UFOs and aliens. And if you really think about it, a lot of the movies that have ever come out that have to do with ETs, except for the movie ET, right? The original ET movie, which was like pretty sweet. And then there's that other alien movie, Paul, which was just extremely funny. That was the one with the gray and there was these two dudes from Comic-Con or whatever, but it was a really good movie. But any other movie that comes out about aliens is always about them coming to kill us, you guys, and that is just not true. I've had so many experiences, and I'll probably do another video explaining more and telling more of my own experiences, but it's something that I really go back and forth with because the experiences that I've had and the encounters that I've had are so personal, and it's not something that I talk about much, except for with, you know, one of my best friends who I'm super close with, and she has some of the same experiences as me. We have our own, I mean, different experiences, of course, we live two different lives, but some of the same types of ET experiences. And so we always talk to each other about it. I think I've told my mom a few things. The whole point of all of these UFO sightings, especially with it increasing as to how many people are seeing them. The whole point is to, I don't want to say desensitize, but to get everyone in a place where it is normal to see ships flying in the sky in broad daylight and even at night. It's to get people used to that so that we can get to a point as a collective to where we will be collectively ready to meet them. You know, they are our galactic brothers and sisters, and they've been watching over us for a very long time. They've been here longer than we have. Okay, this is not something that's new. It's not something that just started, you know, a few years ago. This is something that has always been, but it's something that we've always been lied to about. You know, it's always been something that's been hidden under the rug. Every government on the face of this planet know the extent of all of this extraterrestrial activity. It's really time for us as humanity to become one with our galactic brothers and sisters, and for all of us to really reclaim our space in this universe as multidimensional beings of light, you know? So I don't want anyone to think that this whole UFO and alien life, I don't want you to think that it's something that is separate from the changes that we are experiencing right now in our 3D reality, as far as the changes in our government, the changes in our financial system that are starting to occur, and all of the collapsing that is going on right now, because it is all connected, all of it. And it's one of those subjects that people really are not going to want to hear, or are not going to want to accept, I should say, because there are ET agendas that are the root causes of all of the deception and manipulation and the lies and this illusion that we have been living in for so long, because it is all connected with that. But that is a very small percentage of malevolent influence. The rest of that percentage are some of the most benevolent, beautiful, like luminous and beings of unconditional love and light. So much love that, oh my God, I can't even really explain the energy that they have. And it's really indescribable. And it's the most beautiful energy that I have ever felt. And they have been helping all of us this entire time. They've been helping humans, you know, throughout their whole evolutionary process, especially right now and the times that we're living. Yeah, their influence is very huge. And side note, you know, it really annoys me how the media portrays aliens. You know, every movie that you see, you always see little green men in grays. They do not all look like that, you guys. Most of them are so humanoid that you could walk past them in the street and not know the difference. That's how much they resemble us. So the truth is always much stranger than fiction. For sure. And for those who don't really know much about the subject, I can always dive deeper into it. I think the best way to describe the entirety of this situation is to compare it to an onion, because there's just so many layers of truth that we all have to peel collectively in order for us to collectively move on and step into like a whole new life, a whole new way of being. There are many people, of course, like myself, and at this point I'm pretty sure millions of other people across the globe, who are at that place of awareness to where they do understand the depth of what has been going on for so long, and they understand the bigger picture and the certain things that have been at play for humanity during this time. But I think that the hardest pill that humans are going to have to swallow is the fact that they have been lied to about virtually everything. And that's going to be the hardest thing for people, to really have to unlearn everything that they've ever been taught and relearn something completely different. You know, a whole new perspective. That's really what it is. It's a shift in perspective and an opening, and it's an awakening and awareness that everyone really has to grasp in order for us to move on, for us to evolve as humans. That's what I really wanted to talk about today, you guys. So I'll definitely come back with more videos, and if you guys want to know about anything more specific and I have the knowledge on it, I will definitely make another video about it. But for now, I ask that you guys stay blessed and keep looking up into the skies, you guys. At this point, it's not a matter of belief, it's a matter of acceptance. Okay? All right. Now I love you guys. See ya.